it's Josiah, and we're talking about the righteous gemstones. That's right. This is the first episode in a new series on the show where I discuss the righteous gemstones with Josh Christensen and James C. Leiker. We're going to cover all 3 seasons that are out now and maybe return when the 4th season is out. We'll see. For this episode, though, we'll be talking about the first season. And this is the only episode of this series that will be free. So if you enjoy it and want to hear more, the episodes on the following seasons will all be on the Patreon, which means you can get access to them for a mere $3 a month. The Patreon has all sorts of fun exclusive episodes, like one with my good friend Leo Dickinson while we were on a sort of evangelical pilgrimage to Colorado, or a conversation with a good friend of mine and former worship musician Nathan Thiessen. There's also a reoccurring series on the Patreon with Josh Christensen called The Music Exchange, where every month we each bring an album that's personally meaningful to us and then compare and contrast them. I'm also going to start nagging you all to start leaving reviews on Apple Podcasts. It helps people find the show, and it gives a good first impression to someone who's checking out the show. So, to incentivize that a little bit, I'm going to be reading reviews at the top of the episode. So, we'll read the reviews that do currently exist right now. We've got one from September 27th, 2023 from this guy, Josa.s, who says, "Wow, this Josiah guy seems so smart and cool. I should give him all my money." That guy is totally not me. There's one from October of 2023 from Chris in Des Moines, who says, "I like this show. I'm an occasional guest, but I love what Josiah does with his show and how widely and intelligently he ranges with his conversations with people. Total gem of a show." Thank you so much, Chris. And lastly, a review from June this year. 5 stars, 10 out of 10 podcast listening. This is coming from Nate T93, which is just Nate Thiessen. Hello, Nate Thiessen. He says, "Josiah is one of the smartest and most diverse thinkers I know. He always brings in fascinating guests and a diverse array of topics to his podcast, and Fruitless is no different." Thank you so much, Nate, for that review. And yes, if you want to get your review read out at the top of an episode, consider leaving one. And on that note, with all that out of the way, on to the episode. You are listening to Fruitless, a podcast hosted by me, Josiah Sutton. This is episode 43, Gemstones Part 1, Protestant Comedy, featuring Josh Christensen and James C. Leiker.
I felt bad after listening to the Supernatural episode because I was just thinking, oh man, I could have just made Josiah watch like 2 episodes, but I could have filled that time with just like, you didn't have to do a full season, man.
No, I wanted this because I've been meaning to watch this show anyway.
I've been bugging you forever to watch it.
No, yeah, and you're not the only person either. So, hey everyone, welcome to Fruitless. This is another installment of Josiah's friends are figuring out that you can get him to watch a show if you promise to do a podcast about it. I am joined today by Josh. Hello, Josh.
Hey, it's me, Christian Rock Summer Forever.
And that's right. And hey, another star of Christian Rock Summer. It's James the Cigarette Liker himself, or as he is on Zoom right now, James C. Leiker Jr. the Third. Hello, James C. Leiker the Third.
I don't feel. I ate macaroni and cheese for lunch, and then I took a nap, and now I feel like I'm gonna die.
It's so good that this is gonna be the free one out of the 3.
I'm so sleepy,
and it's gonna be the sleepiest one out of the 3.
Yeah.
I've been watching the DNC this week, so I've got like when Josh and I recorded the Rich Mullins episode, I just watched the RNC and I was in that mental state. I'm in like a similar mental state now, so bad vibes.
What are the demon rats up to?
Oh, I think what it is, like for me, what it is there's so many ways in which the Democrat Party right now is becoming a lot closer to a party I actually like, and then so many ways in which they're becoming worse.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how to process it, and then I just get depressed because it's like, okay, we got union leaders speaking, we got people talking about the working class, like shit like that's happening, and I'm like, fuck yeah, we're doing it. And then like outside, it's like, oh, there's the Palestine protesters, and they're refusing to have a Palestinian speak, and okay.
Did you see that shit on Twitter today where there are people leaving the DNC like with their ears, like their fingers in their ears, plugging their ears, while people were someone was like reading off names of like dead
Palestinians. Yeah, it was the uncommitted vote because they refused to let the uncommitted do like one of the very bare minimum things they requested, which was just like have somebody speak for 5 minutes, have a Palestinian come up and speak for 5 minutes at the DNC. You've had fucking Border Patrol. You've had like you've had like 10 Republicans who are like, I used to be a Republican, but now I'm good. You can't spare 5 minutes. And because they officially said no, then the uncommitted voters all ended up at the steps of the DNC.
Because I don't really know the context of it. It was like on the DNC steps, I guess. So it wasn't like on the DNC proper.
Yeah. So once it was like let out, as people were coming out, the uncommitted voters had like lined up and were reading off names of dead Palestinian children. And these people were either plugging their plugging their ears, or straight up just like repeating what they were saying, backing at them in like a mocking voice. And there's something about saying 18 years old. Because they're listing the age of a dead person that nothing fills me with more hatred for that fucking party.
I mean, it's the business as usual party, and like it's unfortunate, but I mean they go by the polls, and the polls are voters are worried about the economy and immigration.
Yeah, I think they're not listening to the polls enough right now also. But
yeah.
Do you know what'd be a funny bit is if we just never talked about Righteous Gemstones, but you called the episode Righteous Gemstones still. We just riffed for an hour and a half. And then I went to bed because I'm sleepy.
I mean, actually, another interesting piece in trying to come up with my Gonzo approach to the DNC, wherein I do not pay attention to the DNC as it occurs and engage in self-improvement. And then, but I have been reading Man in the High Castle.
Oh, there you go.
And I think that's an appropriate energy to be channeling in this time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I need to read that. Still.
It's really good.
Did you see the show?
I have not seen the show.
It's too much television.
It's too much television.
It's too much show. It's too much show. They didn't need to do 4 seasons of that, man.
Right. Well,
the book's not even that long. What are you even doing?
No. Well, I saw it because it's like everybody just latched onto it has the jungle problem where it's doing one thing, but it's remembered for just one aspect of the thing it's doing. So like, the jungle is, it's about how labor exploitation in the meat industry, and the bourgeoisie just interpret it as like, oh, there's Polish people in my hamburger. We need regulations. So it has kind of that thing where everybody just latches on to the like, oh, what if the Axis won the war? Isn't that terrifying?
Yeah.
And like the whole point of the book is like the world kind of largely develops the same. It's just different guys at the top committing different atrocities.
Like, that's cool.
It's kind of
that's
like
really good.
And then it's kind of like imagining it still sees like, I think he astutely observes that like the same technological and social trends were going to progress. It's just who was competing to administer them. And like, there's definitely stuff where it's like the world in which the Axis powers wins is a more horrifying one, but it's not a fundamentally different one from the one we live in. Like it just there are certain forces that are more unrestrained, but for the average sort of Western citizen, like materially life is largely the same. It's just America is not a cultural dominant. America is a political backwater. So it's more interesting in that. Also, it kind of started my entire I Ching obsession So it's kind of
Yeah.
a bit of a spiritual practice too. Anyway, Righteous Gemstones, different fiction.
We're talking about the Righteous Gemstones, folks. We are talking about season 1 of the Righteous Gemstones because yes, James figured out that if you say you'll do a podcast with me about it, that's a way to get me to watch a TV show that he wants me to watch. And I've been wanting to watch the show for a while too, so I'm glad I had the final, like, the push to do it. And yeah, I mean, starting off here, I loved it. You were all correct. It's really good.
Podcast over. Show's good. Watch it. Like,
show's good. Watch it.
What else
Very
do we
funny.
need to discuss here?
Like going in, I had expected it to be more like, because of it being HBO and it being about the family of a rich, powerful guy, I had assumed it was going to just be like evangelical Succession. But it's not like that, actually. But it's got the bones of it, but it's like a very different tone.
I haven't written anything formal, but I've fancied myself a scholar of Jody Hill and Danny McBride.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Since their appearance on the American cinematic comedy scene, and this is their magnum opus.
You think so?
Like, this is. Mm-hmm. This is absolutely of a piece with everything they've been doing since the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. It feels like, the culmination of a lot of just themes, ideas, and characters that they've been working with over and over. And I think it has a lot to do with how they view themselves within the Hollywood machine, and it has a lot to do with like where they come from. So I don't know. Yeah, I love this show. I kind of hesitate. I'm not sure where I put it in the power rankings, but it's like one of the best things they've ever done.
Okay. Yeah. I'm kind of like, I'm definitely like a Danny McBride casual. You know what I mean? I have not seen enough to really know. So I feel like I'm still getting a feel for his vibe from this show.
I think Gemstones is a pretty good starting point.
Yeah. It seems like it.
I think it's his best work. Like, you can definitely see the DNA of like Eastbound and of Vice Principals in Gemstones, but it's just refined so much. Like, I think that the way it's able to do like both like action scenes and like very like dark comedy, and then also like some very like sincere moments, and it's able to weave those together like really like deftly.
It's able to do all three at once, and you can't tell which of the three it even is at given points.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was just saying, one of the good examples is the bee in the hospital scene.
Yeah.
Is one of my favorite scenes, just in that it takes this really very tragic moment, and then it just like turns it into one of the funniest like bits of physical comedy, like out of nowhere. I think that's just like the quintessential like Danny McBride scene.
It does like the characters all really well too in that scene, because it's like you've got like Kelvin is trying to get the bee and then just getting pissed off and then doing it stupidly because, but then you have like Judy clearly stopped caring about the bee halfway through and is taking this advantage to start smashing things.
Yeah.
Like it's so good. It captures all of the different the characters the characters are really, really well done in this. Like, you get a feel for them really fast. And I think what I was like really surprised by too is like with the Succession comparison, like it establishes really early on that they're all pieces of shit, but you don't see the depth of the depravity until by the end of the first season. You know, it goes there. And I like with Righteous Gemstones that it becomes a crime thing like first episode.
Yep.
Like, it's not like it slowly builds to a big cataclysmic moment. It's like he's getting blackmailed episode one. Jesse's receiving the blackmail.
I never watched Succession. Is it good?
It is good.
It's really good.
It's really good. It's a lot drier.
Is it like a comedy or what? Like what can you compare
it's a
it
drama. It's a
dramedy.
drama.
Okay.
But
dramedy.
Yeah.
Well, so like
there's a lot of
it's subtle about the comedy. It's very subtle about its comedy.
Like, it would be billed as a comedy in Britain, but I don't think the American market really knows what to do with it. So it's like, it's a dramedy. It's a black comedy is kind of what it is.
Is it kind of the same way that Sopranos is a comedy?
Yeah, actually,
yes.
that would be a good way of putting it, because
'Cause,
it's like the plot itself is really serious, and even the characters like are playing it straight. But if you step out of yourself enough while watching it, you start finding the characters really funny because they're just so pathetic in their own ways.
right.
As Righteous Gemstones, though, beats you over the head with this is a comedy. Like, there's no hiding that this is a comedy. It plays like a lot of the Coen brothers like explicit comedies too, like in how it's done. It's almost cartoonish at times. Like, I really like it.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's their thing. They're like these poets of vulgarity, but they also have like this like great mind for these like almost Looney Tunes-esque visual gags.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, just like the pun of "Let It Be" when they're praying over baby Billy. Sorry, spoilers for Righteous Gemstones season 1.
Okay, we're gonna spoil this whole season
I
and
mean,
the
yeah,
whole show eventually.
There's 3 seasons out. It's acclaimed. Like, I don't. Spoilers, fucking shit. Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, kind of that thing, and then how that kind of that also bleeds into this knack for sort of action and horror when it needs to be. I mean, they're and this is a toolkit they've been developing since day one. Like, if you go back to Foot Fist Way, like basically like all the elements are there. You give Danny McBride some wounded macho persona. You put him in a position of weird, petty, nearly meaningless power.
Yeah.
And then have him interact with the public and like just deal with the consequences of his own actions. And it's like, right. And so, yeah, Foot Fist Way. So he's a taekwondo, like a cuckolded taekwondo instructor who's trying to like deal with his life. And yeah, like routinely gets his ass kicked, but just does not learn his lesson. Like, just thinks he is the victor at the end of it. And they've just been like doing that. I mean, it's Foot Fist Way, Observe and Report, Eastbound and Down.
Can we take a moment to talk about Observe and Report?
Yes,
because that movie does not get enough love. But that movie, every time I watch
it's
it,
coming
I forget
back around.
I forget how funny that movie is. That movie's incredible.
Yeah,
Seth Rogen is just perfect in it. Like his character and like that just like the mindset of like your like the average reactionary like suburbanite. He's just like the way he like is able to convey that is just incredible.
It's like they've been doing this decades long character study of like loss prevention guys. Like just that lowest level of fascist enforcement. That lowest level of authority over your fellow man. So they have just been studying that personality, and you start with the taekwondo instructor, and now you're at like the fail son of a megachurch pastor. So what's interesting is, just a quick aside to Observe and Report, like when it came out, they had an interview, I think Jody Hill and Danny McBride gave, where they were talking about like their future projects, or maybe it was around when Eastbound and Down came out, because like Observe and Report was a massive failure, and Jody Hill's last feature film effort. So actually, I mean, going deeper. So like they kind of, the history of Hill, McBride, and David Gordon Green. So they're 3 dudes. They meet at UNC Chapel Hill, like late 90s, early 2000s. Come up through the film program, music scene, just arts, entertainment, culture, but in the South, East Coast. So different. I think David Gordon Green. So he's a filmmaker in his own right. Like there's some of his early stuff that is considered to be like important American cinema of its era. Like this is a guy like who's just been a known talent from the beginning. But McBride and Hill are working more in comedy, but he kind of, he steps in to direct episodes. He's like, he directed Your Highness, which should have been great, and it was just not good at all. Like, just talk about a swing and a miss. But he's just been down to work in like lowbrow comedy, but also do like more prestige drama and art house type stuff. So they kind of fly alongside each other. So Hill and McBride self-produced The Foot Fist Way in like 2002, 2003. Somehow get Will Ferrell and Adam McKay somehow get wind of it. So they set up distribution. Like they get executive producer, they set up distribution. So then all of a sudden they're kind of cozy with the Saturday Night Live Lorne Michaels set. So that movie gets some attention. Danny McBride gets cast in Hot Rod with Andy Samberg and the Lonely Island guys and Bill Hader. So I don't know, just, you know, James, you brought up like the action scenes. It's very interesting that there are two very acclaimed comedies in the past couple of years, Barry and The Righteous Gemstones, that also feature like some of the best action cinematography of like the past few years. Like just straight up. I go for it.
Oh, you guys watch Barry?
Yeah. I think I haven't finished it, but I watched the first season, maybe the first two seasons when it was coming out, and then I haven't caught back up.
Okay. The finale for Barry is incredible. I loved it so much. It's so good.
The last season of Barry is just on a completely different level than the first two. It's
I'll need to pick it back up.
So without going into it, like they do, just speaking to the action, there is a chase and shootout. That's basically, okay, what if we took like, what would like sort of an 80s action sequence look like in real life? Like what happens if you're hyper realist about it? And it is simultaneously one of the funniest and most terrifying sequences I've ever seen.
Oh man, that sounds great.
Anyway, so it's just funny that they both worked on Hot Rod, which you could reasonably call an action comedy of a sort.
Yeah.
So yeah, from there, Jody Hill and McBride kind of get sucked into the Apatow machine. So Jody Hill and Ben Best have a cameo. I think Danny McBride also had a cameo in Superbad.
Yeah.
So they were all in Superbad. And then they got Seth Rogen off of that to star in Observe and Report. And then Jody Hill makes like, okay, what if Taxi Driver, but about a suburban mall cop? Like just like an incredibly dark and fucked up movie, and just funny movie. Comes out the same month as Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Oh, that's awesome.
So everybody just thinks, oh, I have to choose between two stupid mall cop movies. So Paul Blart makes, fuck you, Kevin James. Fuck you, like, go to hell. So Paul Blart just makes ungodly money, but nobody wants to see the weird, dark Seth Rogen mall cop Taxi Driver riff. Now it's kind of getting its critical due, but Real Heads knew at the time.
Real Heads knew.
So that's largely the end of Jody Hill's feature film directorial gig, but they work with Farrell and McKay. They get Eastbound and Down made at HBO, which they're riffing on. Like I can't remember the specific guy, but it's like an actual like relief pitcher for the Braves, who was like a similar figure. So just kind of like an asshole mediocrity in a talented asshole in baseball. And so 4 seasons of that. Kenny Powers is a fucking cultural icon. There's shoe commercials. Like it's nuts. So that's big. Then they come back for Vice Principals some years later, limited series. Just, I never finished the second season, but that first season is just some of the most unhinged and just bleakest shit they've ever written.
Yeah.
And they got Walton Goggins involved, and he is just insane in that show.
Yeah. Okay. And that's how they got, because Goggins is fantastic.
Baby Billy.
And Baby Billy is such a despicable character. Like, you need to take a shower after he comes on screen, and he's so good at that.
Goggins is a treat. I'll watch pretty much anything that has Walton Goggins in it. Even that like kind of shitty Prime Fallout show. I was just like, that's Goggins. That's fine.
Isn't Goggins play a ghoul in it?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing casting. Perfect.
My position, as long as Goggins is getting paid, I have no beef, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's like I saw a clip of Michael Caine getting interviewed because he played in Jaws 4, which is not good. In case you were wondering, the fourth Jaws film.
That seemed like that's when it would start picking back up.
So it's like he's like, yeah, I'd get all these comments about like, yeah, it was a shit film, why are you in it? And he's like, I mean, he's like, I don't care about the reviews, I just think about the house I was able to buy my mother with the paycheck. Like, you know, like, so at least he got paid, you know.
That's nice,
man. Yeah, so man, Josiah, how's Righteous Gemstones hitting after Christian Rock Summer? Like, you know, were you in the proper mindset to receive it?
It was both perfect, and also like I was going back and forth on how perfectly Righteous Gemstones is a satire of evangelicalism or not, because in part it doesn't feel like the evangelicalism I grew up in, because I didn't go to a mega church. My parents didn't like televangelists. I didn't get this as much. So there's degrees where it's not like relatable, like a Stephen Cohn movie is like relatable to my evangelical upbringing.
Exactly. Yep.
As this isn't as much that, but there's a lot of really uniquely evangelical stuff going on in it at the same time that I really appreciated.
Yeah.
And I think one of the biggest ones is I was thinking about Tad DeLay a lot, actually, a little bit while watching this, because of all the psychology going on constantly.
There's a lot of psychology.
There's a lot of psychology going on. And one of those is the extent to which people using their doctrines of like righteousness and forgiveness and stuff like that as a way to like try to launder themselves after doing horrific things, like just came back to me. Like, it's such a reoccurring theme in this of like, you know, at the end of the season, Jesse being like, you know, having his big reveal to clear himself, like get all this shit off of his chest, and then looking expectantly at everybody like, and now's the big moment where you're supposed to be like, wow, that's so good of you to tell me this. You are such a brave man. And they're not that way.
God, the whole lead up to that, where it's just like, right, he tricks them all into coming over to his house for a movie night. And he's like, nah, guys, it's going to be something different. And he's just like, me and these flawed men. And then he goes into
I think we probably should go like by character through this, because each one's got kind of their own trajectory, right? And I will say, I think Jesse's whole trajectory is the thing I got sucked into the most. Mostly because, I mean, that's the one where the action sequences are happening and all that. You know, if you haven't watched the show and you're okay with it being spoiled, here we go. Jesse is the oldest son of Eli Gemstone, the head patriarch of this televangelist megachurch empire. And Jesse, at some fucking prayer convention, did a ton of cocaine and crack, and they had a bunch of prostitutes, had a bunch of sex workers in their hotel room, and somebody filmed it and is now blackmailing him with that. And this happens first episode, like within the first 10 minutes of it, I think sets the tone for the show really well, because you get especially in how it's delivered too. It's really funny because he's talking to his wife while brushing his teeth, and so he's talking with like his mouth full of toothpaste, and then he's looking at his phone while the video is loading up. Oh my god. But that whole trajectory, I think that's what I found most interesting, because as it goes on, it's, you know, his quote unquote like rebellious son seems more like one of the most level-headed people in the show, actually, but his rebellious son is blackmailing him to try to get some money.
Right. Well, yeah, because it's Jesse realizing that he is the prodigal son. He is the one that's, you know, he's failing in his duty as the eldest son or whatever. It's kind of funny. Well, going back a bit, so the interviews around Eastbound and Down, they were talking. Jody Hill and Danny McBride were talking about, like, they were kind of like, oh, what's your dream project? What's like the ultimate goal? And they're like, oh, we want to do like Dixie Mafia Godfather. They wanted to do Southern Fried Godfather. So I think this is how they figured out how to pull that off.
Yeah,
Like
and
it's very,
yeah,
you know, it's
I can
like
see it. Yeah,
right. I mean, it's instead right. It's Protestant. It's Protestant Godfather. Like what if nothing? What if nothing? What if you never had to face a consequence? What if everything just works out?
yeah. James was saying that when we were over text was it the Chapo episode that was about Righteous Gemstones when it first started coming out? Do you want to say something about that?
Oh no, I was just. I mean, people could just find that episode and listen to the episode.
Sure. Yeah.
Listen to Chapo Trap House, everybody.
Yeah, check out Chapo Trap House.
Just a little
I don't know if you ever heard
podcast
of these
called
guys called
Chapo
Chapos.
Trap House.
No. It was just something that I'm going to butcher it, but something Matt Crispin said about like Danny McBride's comedy is that like what makes it kind of have a different quality than a lot of other comedy produced by people like other people is that like it's not coming from a position of like someone who's in a sort of more marginalized group. Like McBride is a Protestant, and so his comedy is Protestant, like fundamentally. It doesn't like, and so this idea that like there's no like karma for the characters, like no matter how shitty they are, eventually like they always come out on top. Like there's never any justice for them. They always end up winning in the end. You know?
Yeah.
Like in Seinfeld is about like shitty people, but they fucking go to jail at the end of the show. You know, like they get punished for it eventually.
Right.
But you know, this
everybody
show is just
famously
like,
hated. Everybody hated
everyone got
the
mad about
Seinfeld
that.
finale.
Yeah, I actually liked the finale a lot. I thought it was
I still
really funny.
think it's really funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I think every sitcom should end with the main characters going to prison.
I miss the 90s when they'd go out on like something absurd and high concept like that. They're just like, it's just like, well, this thing was never meant to have an ending, so fuck it, you know?
Yeah. Well, and also because the show relies so much on people doing terrible shit the whole time and getting away with it mostly, that it is kind of like, and you know, this is kind of the way you end it.
But yeah,
we'll see if Gemstones ends that way. But yeah, you're right. Everyone kind of gets away with everything they're doing.
Yeah. I want to propose that my theory is that in the universe of Righteous Gemstones, evangelical Protestant Christian God is real. Like I actually am pretty convinced that that's actually like canon in the show.
I was convinced of that after Baby Billy got hit by lightning. Yeah. That was when I was like, I was like, okay, I think the show does kind of think God is like maybe pretty absent, but he shows up every once in a while to just do a justice real quick.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. There is a real like, and if you want to take Protestant maybe in like a reformed direction, there's a real total depravity going on in this show, like as a theme pretty consistently, it feels like, of like, you know, not just that everyone's bad, but like that their motivations are all corrupted. And everybody's got bad motivation in the show for the most part. And one thing I was thinking about a lot, you know, at the beginning of the show, especially, is one of the kind of joke formats in the show a lot is the music cues being out of line with what's actually happening. And so like, it's like a subtle joke it's always doing. So like, I think it's one of the scenes where Eli Gemstone is telling all these other churches that he's gonna, you know, just take all their shit. He's going to monopolize the churches in here. And it has swelling emotional music under it as if it's a triumphant moment.
Yeah.
And that's a joke I feel like consistently throughout it, is that the music cues are communicating the emotions that the protagonists are feeling about what they're doing, but you recognize as an objective viewer that it's playing an emotional game with you. Like it's trying to make you skeptical, maybe. I mean, you know, make you skeptical of when a movie uses a music cue like that to communicate this is a good moment.
Yeah.
Because it uses it a lot.
Yeah. Did you see that news article where like that plot line in Righteous Gemstones is like, that's real. Like churches do that.
Oh, I wanted to bring that up. Yeah, there was that that was some pastor that they were circulating a clip of him giving a sermon where he just straight up was like, yeah, so the mega church in town, I found out by talking to a marketing guy for my church that what they do is they set up a thing so that your phone sets off a notification informing you about the mega church if you are in proximity of other churches. So this is a real thing. Like, this is
American Christianity is so cool, man. That's so
I know.
That rocks so much.
Look at American Christianity. Even our churches are monopolizing, bro. Like,
church marketing guy is a crazy thing.
Yeah.
If you actually believe in God for a second, the idea of church marketing guy feels like it should be like a blasphemous like concept. I feel like I don't know.
It's just over. I think Christianity's cooked. It's over. We need a new thing. We need a new revelation. Like it's been completely like just drained of every last ounce of meaning.
Yeah.
You guys want to rock with the new Abrahamic faith I'm going to start?
Yes. Yeah, let's do it. Another round of Abrahamic religion.
We're going to get it right this time.
Yeah, no, we are. It's gonna.
We can fix it.
Yeah.
No, it's already been fixed. It's called Islam.
That's ultimately this trajectory is we're going to end this series on the Righteous Gemstone with all of us saying the Shahada.
We've plumbed the depths of Christianity. There's nothing left for us. We must embrace the light of Allah.
But okay, so let's talk about the character of Jesse, I think, first to start, because I mean, played by Danny McBride himself, seems like a good start here. It kind of feels like the protagonist of this season. Like, obviously other stuff's happening, but it feels like his trajectory is what's pushing the plot in this season. I don't know if that changes with the future seasons.
It's always about them as a unit.
It does this thing that I've noticed that some shows do where like it feels like you can't really have character development because so much of the comedy comes from these guys being like pieces of shit, like huge assholes.
Yeah, right.
So the ending of season 1 kind of ends with has a kind of this touching moment between Jesse and his son, you know, and it feels like Jesse kind of learned something and he grew as a person. But then season 2, it kind of didn't really take. You know, and they can't really do that. You know, they can't make Jesse like become like a good guy. Like, oh, I should actually give all my money to the poor and live a humble life. Like, no, he's not going to do that, man. He's right. He's too long gone.
I don't know. Yeah. But it's just like morality is just like how faithful is he to the family, right? Like it's.
Yeah.
It doesn't change his worldview by any means. It's just is he being the most effective gemstone he can be? Is kind of the is he worthy of his position in the family? And I think season 2 is a lot about that power struggle between him and Kelvin. So it really like it's a dynastic story, truly.
So I don't want to spoil anything. Season 2 of Righteous Gemstones may be my favorite season of any television show ever made, ever. Okay. It is seriously some of the funniest plot lines. There's a really good Calvin plot line. I don't want to spoil any of it. But
we'll save that.
You know, Josiah, you familiar with like the Power Team? You know,
of course that's where this goes. Of course that's where it goes.
Dude. Yeah,
Kelvin is designed for that as a character. Oh my god.
There's incredible plot. It goes some places you don't expect, but it's beautiful. It's one of the funniest plot lines of any show I've ever seen.
And is it kind of obvious that, I mean, I don't know if maybe this is gonna be how it is, but it feels like it's at least communicating that Kelvin is on some level gay and not dealing with it. Is that I'm reading that correctly?
Okay. This is on my second round through the show, and with the knowledge of further seasons, like it's in the first season. Like the subtext is there.
Yeah. Because I mean, I think, you know, outside of like the Jesse trajectory,
it's not subtext. Like the Kelvin Keefe stuff is just straight up.
It's
lovers in denial. Yeah.
Okay, Keefe is one of my favorite characters.
He's so funny.
So Keefe is a former Satanist who's converted to Christianity and is living with Kelvin now. And oh my god, it's so funny because I think the show is like it's incredibly funny how it depicts a Satanist too, because like it's kind of both like dialed up and insane and goofy, but on the flip side it really communicates like, yeah, Satanists are just like weird dudes who do drugs. Like it's not like a force of anyone that they're not like gonna take control of the government or something like an 80s paranoia thing. It's like they go to a nightclub with an inverse cross on it, like, and that's what the Satanists do.
They just get super high and do sex stuff with each other. Like that's it.
Kind of weird nerds.
It's funny how like even that's kind of a callback. Like I miss, there was an earlier dispensation of media where I was just consuming a lot more like reference and like bonus content. So like I have a lot of memories of like the commentary tracks on the first couple seasons of Eastbound and Down. But they were talking about like a cut plot line from that show where they were going to have a character get like captured by like Southern Satanists, but they're really just guys who like Metallica a lot. Like, so that's kind of, so they did this, but they just did the like, because that when Keith like what he walks by the sports bar and sees the guy do the licking pussy, that he runs into his old Satanist goth friends. I mean, that's based on like a classic viral video of just like weird goth ravers in an alley somewhere. So it's just like they just did that. They're like, oh yeah, he's an ex-Satanist. What did that mean? Oh yeah, just a bunch of like goth ravers. But
it's still like he behaves as if he really saw some shit. You know what I mean? He behaves like the like your typical like former Satanist grifter type. But then like when you see what it actually is, it's like, yeah, he's a nightclub guy. He was a nightclub guy.
He just got too high and it scared him. Like that's.
But yeah, I love that character. He's so funny. And then the clear romantic tension that's clearly there between him and Kelvin is very funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're just really good friends. I think they just like to admire each other while they work out and live in the same house and be naked around each other.
Okay, I got to talk about this. There's a lot of dong in this show.
Oh, so much dong. Peens on screen.
So much. This is a very peen on screen show. I don't think there is an episode of this show that does not have dick in it at some point. And sorry, that connects to then like one of the like funniest just camera gags that's like now burned in my head is when Kelvin is lifting weights and it shows the camera from his perspective and Keith is spotting him and you could just clearly see a ball hanging out of his shorts. There's a lot of dick going on in this.
There's this sort of tangential thing to what we were talking about with there's a Keith gag where he's playing this like motorcycle game at Calvin's I think it's like in Kelvin's house, and he's talking about how there was a demon boss that was removed from the game due to protests from like Christian groups, and then they replaced it with just like a shark guy, and then he just like mentions that the shark guy has like real muscly legs.
Yeah,
but what I think I liked about that one little gag is just the fact that it kind of cued me into the fact that these guys kind of are a little bit more familiar with this world than your average like Hollywood writer, in that it's like, these guys like actually grew up Southern Baptist. So
at the very least around these moral panics for sure.
Yeah. Like they definitely are familiar with this sort of thing. It's like, that's a thing I would hear about growing up,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Then we have talked about Kelvin, but the youth pastor, the baby brother.
Kelvin's the youth pastor, which is also funny because he's so good at that role too.
He's actually incredible. The episode where they're man, I just I do love how they do get like church politics right. Like it's like, okay, so they have to save this they have a guy who owns like a bunch of like fast food franchises, so he's just a local rich guy, and they're like, our daughter's dating a bad guy, can Kelvin help out? So it's like, so he does the youth pastor thing to like turn her away from sin or whatever, But yeah, it's just so they can keep a major donor in the church.
It's oh my god, that episode's so great too, because that's the one where they have to burst into the Satanist nightclub because she goes there. They're like trying to rescue her, and oh my god, it's so funny.
I like the bit where Kelvin's trying to get the wayward young woman to go to church, the youth group thing with him, and he's just like jumping on a trampoline. He's doing flips on the trampoline. And it's like playing this really like heavy electronic music, but it's just like so fucking lame. Like it's not cool. It's like it does this music cue where like it's like there's so much stuff like growing up in this world where there's this stuff where it's like this isn't really cool to anybody outside of this kind of like evangelical world, like outside this clique. It's just sort of this. It's like this facsimile of like cool. But you don't quite understand it because you're not quite like able to understand that outside world.
Yeah, well, it's the evangelical version of infinite money for bullshit. Like when you're on that level, it's like, how do we retain the youth? It's like they have to go to the bounce zone once a month, write a check. They yearn. They yearn for the bounce zone. It's got such an eye for like, well, I mean. A great thing that's going on in the background of the show is like it's got such an eye for like modern megachurch kitsch and aesthetics. Yeah. And then it also really plays on it with like the Locust Grove Prayer Center opening up in a closing down Sears in a mall. Yeah. So it's just like it's not a meaningfully separate entity. It's just they're another franchise selling a product. And they can take over the Sears.
Going to the God store. Do you need anything?
Going to the God store.
And you can, you can even buy Jesus, but you can't put him on layaway.
We need to talk about Baby Billy soon.
Wait, let's move to Baby Billy. Okay, so we've kind of covered Jesse Gemstones, the oldest, and he's the one that gets blackmailed, and most of the crime stuff in the season's that. We have Kelvin, who's the youngest, he's the youth pastor, and we have Baby Billy, who's their uncle, who's their mom's brother. Yeah.
And they used to be their mom and Baby Billy used to be child performers on the church circuit back in the old timey days.
Yeah, I have had Misbehavin stuck in my head this week because of that.
That was a cultural another like phenomenon. Like they nailed that particular thing so well, and it was kind of funny how nonchalant they were about it. They're like, oh, we just had this music guy and I guess he just really researched the thing. But like, because when they put it out, everybody swore that it's like, oh, did you like unearth some old cassette and find one of these old songs? And they're like,
it does sound like
we
it. Yeah.
wrote it. And it's like you nailed it so perfectly. It's that yeah.
There's all the like little kitschy lines or like weird idiosyncratic lines like that feel out of place, like I don't know, like of examples of misbehaving, being used in it that seem like weird, like running through the house with a pickle in my mouth.
I was thinking about that. It's very depression coded. It's very it's very much about being prim and proper and being a good steward of resources. And like,
yeah, that's true. Because it's like the whole structure of the song is like, these two young country kids are misbehaving, and then they meet Jesus and learn that misbehaving's the route to the devil. So they stop. But then all the examples, they're not like particularly evil things. They're just like a kid being a little shit, like they're not, but they're violations of being prim and proper, running around with a pickle in my mouth.
Running around the house with a pickle in my mouth. Like, oh my God. That killed everybody. That was like a nuclear bomb in comedy when that episode dropped. Like everybody was losing their shit at running around the house with a pickle in my mouth.
Misbehaving.
Mama told me not to. I did it anyway.
Misbehaving. Yeah. Well, but Baby Billy, of course, is now he's an old pervert. That's what's become of him. Old child singer, and now he is. And there's this long tension between Eli Gemstone the patriarch had married his, why am I blanking on her name now? His sister.
Aimee-Leigh.
Aimee-Leigh. And Aimee-Leigh passed away, and so but like there's this whole backstory of like Aimee-Leigh's success carried on when she married Eli, and they formed this televangelist kind of empire, and baby Billy got kind of thrown to the side, but also thrown to the side because he was consistently a piece of shit, consistently trying to fuck them over and steal money from them. Getting mad that she won't go on tour while she's pregnant, shit like that. So yeah, then he comes back, in the present in the show, and he's Eli's feeling bad for him, so he's giving him that mall church we were describing. I don't know, James, you had what you said you wanted to bring him up. What are your thoughts on Baby Billy?
Oh, I just think Walton Goggins is he's best when he's in the role of demonic hillbilly. Is kind of the best like. But I don't know. I don't know. I think he's one of my favorite characters. I think he's just like one of the most truly sickening characters from the show. Like one of the very few characters that I just don't find like. Actually, that's not true, because I think there's plenty of characters who aren't unredeemable, but I think he's more unredeemable than other characters in that. Actually, I don't really think anybody's unredeemable. I don't believe that, but I mean, in the sense of like he's just like.
Oh, he's choosing not to be redeemed. He's
choosing. But yeah, that scene where he kind of throws a hissy fit over Aimee-Leigh getting pregnant and not going on tour with him is like one of the most truly disgusting things I've seen in the show. Like it really is just like, wow, you're really sucking, man. You're not a good guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then he tries to sow discord between Eli and Aimee-Leigh by going through their children. Like he is,
getting Jesse drunk as a kid at Judy's birthday party.
So they keep the interlude structure. There's always a flashback to an earlier time throughout the seasons, but that, man, just like, oh yeah, you see where all these dynamics. So like in the present day, he tries to sow discord by gassing up Judy, who we haven't talked about, Judy Gemstone, who is like low key the most chaotic and horrifying character in the show.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. Judy is horrifying.
Another Edie Patterson, she also joined the fold in Vice Principals, and they found Danny McBride's perfect female form. They found the perfect like feminine expression of that energy in Edie Patterson.
I was listening to some interviews with McBride. And, they brought Edie into the writer's room for some of the episodes. So she's actually a part of the writing process in the show. So, incredibly funny woman. I loved her role in Vice Principals. I thought she was fantastic in Gemstones. I'd say probably she's one of the characters who gave me the most laugh lines out of any character.
Yeah, she does. She does give me a lot of laugh lines. Like, okay, because
so much of it is just like, I mean, something that McBride does. It's the way he uses English, the way he manipulates English, and the way, like the combination of his performance and then just like the way he chooses to word things. Like she has the same skill.
Yeah. There's a lot of wordplay in the show, but like it's hard to explain because it's not like you mentioned like a British comedy kind of thing, right? There's a lot of wordplay in like British comedies,
but
and usually it's like a smarter though. It's smart playing with the language. And what it is with Righteous Gemstones is you can tell the writers are smart, but what they're doing is intentionally having people say really dumb things.
Well, they're writing very dumb characters who think they're smart.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because so much of like the Gemstones dynamic is like they are three overgrown children. They never matured. They never had to mature. And this is Jesse Gemstone finally becoming a man at 45 years old or whatever.
Yeah, this whole season is that. Yeah. Well, yeah, and I
becoming
also
an adult, not to gender it.
Sure, yeah. But because it's so funny too, because they act more like adults when they're separate, and then when the three of them get together again, they're just immediately like, Dad, he's looking at me, like they have that energy constantly. And and then the weird wordplay going into that constantly. Like I'm trying to think of an example, because it's very present throughout all of it. Just like weird figures of speech and stuff like that. Get it kind of falling apart with people arguing.
What or like I don't know, maybe it's just because I just watched the last episode like a couple hours ago.
Same.
But when Judy and BJ were reunited in the security office, and she's like, "Why are you dressed like a school shooter?" And he's like, "No, I'm not. I'm say anything." Like it's that kind of shit. Just like it's like dumb people talking about stuff. Like
it's not I'm John Cusack, right? Who
right, John Cusack. Yeah,
I'm not John Cusack and say anything. It's I'm say anything.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Judy is actually one of the most horrifying characters in this, though. But I think the beauty of it is that it doesn't come out in the first few episodes. Because, like, in the first few episodes, she's, like, kind of dumb and chaotic. But, like, she seems like she's the most sympathetic out of the three at times.
Well, yeah, she's introduced, like, her first scene is her at the hangar waiting for her dad and older brothers to come home because she wasn't allowed to go on the China mission trip.
Right. Yeah, so you see it
to
as like
people in a wave pool.
You see it as like that. And then you have maybe one of the most horrifying little dialogues in it, which is I think in the last episode of the season, where she admits that she hasn't had boyfriends prior to BJ, the guy she's dating now, and that the only other relationship she had is, initially she says, an economics professor, and you're like, okay, I know this dynamic. And then it's basically she lays out that she sexually assaulted him and kidnapped his kid and blackmailed him. It's like, Jesus Christ.
This is right. This is so like, right. At this point, BJ and Judy have split up. She's trying to get him back. She tracked him down to the lens crafters he works in a Piggly Wiggly, and accuses a very obviously not straight woman of trying to steal her man, and then throws a tantrum in the parking lot. And then you kind of learn that this is a pattern. She has very public kind of violent outbursts, gets arrested, and Eli Gemstone just comes and bails her out every time.
And I really do like that it doesn't actually reveal that till like the very end of the season, because again, you're mostly focused on Jesse's sin, and I understand Jesse as an archetype in fiction pretty easily. Like, we all are familiar with this shitty, maybe son of a televangelist or son of a megachurch pastor who's like doing coke and fucking sex workers on the side. This is a thing that happens pretty frequently. And it's like, Judy, you don't expect it. And it just kind of comes out of nowhere. It's like, oh, she's like insane.
Well, early on, she's revealed she was embezzling. So she had like a bunch of money she'd been taking, which they used to pay off the bride.
But even then, like, it's like, I still think of that, like, when that happens, as being kind of like, okay, yeah, she's embezzling, but it's also like, she put it away for safekeeping. Like, you could see the reasoning. She's like, I was just taking a little bit off in case I need to run away. I have some money.
Right. Yeah. There's kind of other things, but.
And then it's by the end, it's like, oh, right. No, she's a monster.
Yeah.
Also, right? These are all terrible people. Okay, we introduced Baby Billy and Judy, so I guess that kind of goes together, though. So that's how that trajectory kind of mostly plays out in the season, is that Baby Billy is trying to sow discord in the family by saying that Judy has a secret talent that no one else recognizes, and because she is kind of screwed over out of the family, treated as lesser, and able to kind of try to steal her from the family, and then immediately gets dumped the instant Baby Billy's got some money. Like, because that's what his whole thing is just trying to get money. Like, I kind of respect that level of what the character is, that like there's no complexity to Baby Billy on some level. This is a man that likes to get his dick sucked, and he likes money. That's it. That's his motivation in everything.
That's always going to be an intrusive thought for me, is the line, who wants to suck an old man's dick?
Yeah.
I know. That scene is horrifying. Yeah, so yeah, he's got like, how many divorces is he on at this point? Supposedly like 5 or something like that. And then, he's gotten married to or is dating or something, a much younger woman.
They're married. Yeah.
Oh, they are married. Okay.
Yeah.
No. It was just,
well, you think he would live in sin?
Of course not. Right. Of course. Of course.
Yeah.
Maybe we should walk through how this whole money thing plays out, I guess. Maybe that's a good thing to recap that and see how that goes.
Oh, yeah.
Because it starts with, so Jesse's getting blackmailed for this video of him doing coke and being around sex workers, and
he doesn't actually have sex with them though,
which he brings up quite a lot in the
he's very adamant about that. He wasn't the one who did it. It was
Chad.
Chad.
I love
the arc of him ruining Chad's life. Like,
oh my god.
Like,
okay,
Chad takes a bullet for him, and then he like just completely destroys his life.
Like low key, Mandy, Chad's wife, is one of my favorite characters. Like, just the only sane person, like, left in, like, she's the one who like gets the emails and is of them just like talking about titties or whatever, and then they're like, no, we were reviewing the TI film ATL. That's what we were, and we were referring to the large breasts on some of the African American actresses in the film. It was just a joke, and then everybody just gaslights Mandy into whatever, and oh man.
Oh yeah, and so then when Jesse does his big reveal and tells them all, she's immediately like, I knew it.
Yeah. Okay. And it's the best part of that scene is like they Chad and Mandy bring their daughters, and Jesse's like, I said no kids. He's like, we couldn't get a sitter. That's like okay.
So rewinding though.
Right, yeah. Sorry.
So they got this video, and Jesse shows it to all the other friends of his that were including Chad, who was there. Yeah. And they figure out a game plan of getting money to try to pay him off where it was, it's Judy steps in at the last minute, right? Yeah. Like he meets with them, and the people that are blackmailing him, like when they show up, they're wearing like masks, like a devil mask or whatever. Oh, God damn it. Who plays the devil? What's his name? He's great also. That is some great casting too. Or what's his name? Scotty, that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's in this show I've seen, The Mick. Have you ever seen The Mick?
No.
So it's a comedy that Caitlin Olsen did from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's like she's like the taking care of a bunch of rich kids. It's actually a pretty funny comedy because it's like a cookie cutter sitcom, but it's like got It's Always Sunny sense of humor. So it's like got this, like, it goes to horrifying dark places while it's the structure of like a nice family comedy. It's pretty funny. Anyway, he's like this horrifying character in that as well. It's like he's the like on again, off again boyfriend of Caitlin Olsen's character, who's you know, like has bits like he knows the age of consent in every state off the top of his head.
Oh no.
So like when he showed up in this, I was like, oh, this is amazing casting. This is perfect. Oh my God. Cause yeah, he plays just such a skeezy guy. But yeah, so the blackmailing is slowly revealed. It is coming from, Scotty, and then, Jesse's son Gideon, who ran away to LA to become a stuntman. And it's eventually revealed, like, the night that video was taken, Jesse was being an asshole to Gideon, so Gideon like left his phone recording, and that's how he got the video. And so Gideon, you know, once this all fails, like Jesse, you know, in the moment when they're supposed to give him the money, beats the shit out of Scotty and runs him over with a car, which actually was one of the biggest laughs out of the show got out of me, was that whole scene, because I was just shocked it was going to go there this early in the show too. I was like, oh, they're going to murder someone in like episode 3. Yeah. Anyway, yeah,
No, running. That's the first episode.
Is it the first? Oh, I think it is.
It is the first
The very first episode. They run over
in the parking
car.
lot of the Rim Time.
That's right. Oh my God. Yeah, I think that's even more why I was stunned. That it got there so early. But yeah, so to try to get the money, then they send Gideon to come back to the family and live with them so that he can get an inside thing so that they can do a big heist on the church on Easter Sunday morning. And at the last moment, Gideon starting to enjoy his time with his family again. He changes his mind and he beats the shit out of Scotty and gets away with it. And then Scotty, comes to their home with a gun, gets them to come unlock the safe, steals the money, runs off with the money. As he's running off with the money, he gets hit by Baby Billy, who is in the middle of getting roadhead.
Yeah.
Or rather, he hits him, and they accidentally shoot him in the process, Scotty, and Baby Billy runs off with the money. And the final episode is they come and they get the money from Baby Billy, who gets hit by lightning.
Yep.
And I'm kind of skipping some stuff further, but that's the general gist of like the plot of this season is that all plays out. At some point there's a scuffle where, was it Chad gets shot? We were saying.
Oh yeah, it's the Dermot Mulroney, Johnny Sessions, the Locust Grove pastor that's trying to like protest the Gemstone Prayer Center.
That's right. Okay, that's another whole chunk, and actually a good chunk to talk about that I don't want to leave out was, so we talked about the monopolizing of the megachurch going on here. One of the local pastors is really mad at them, obviously, and so they assume he's the one doing the blackmailing, so Jesse and his crew show up, and dude sees them coming from a mile away and shoots him immediately. Up there, that character, I'm blanking on his name, but he's up there for one of the only characters thus far. I'm sure it can be proven wrong in the next 2 seasons. That seems like a good guy. Like, like he's got his convictions in line. He is definitely an evangelical pastor, but he's like an evangelical pastor that believes in, like actually doing, actually helping people. I don't know. Actually being a pastor rather than, trying to make a shit ton of money.
Oh man.
Seasons.
One of my favorite of Jesse's gang is Levi, the worship guitarist, who is played by Jody Hill. Like he has all these.
Is he the one that drops the line in that final episode where while all the wives are getting mad at all of them, he's the only one that doesn't have a wife, and he's like, I wish I had somebody in my life to get mad at me when I do bad stuff.
Well, like when he first shows them the video of the coke and sex workers, his response is like, I won't be able to adopt.
Oh right. Oh no.
like clearly the loneliest guy and just like the butt of the joke every time. Like, what was it like when they're trying to figure out how to find the van? He's like, well, we could make a flyer and post it around and see if anybody's seen it. And like everybody's just like, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard, Levi.
Oh, is he the one that made the like little coins that say we did it?
No, that was Gregory.
Oh, that was Greg. Okay. That's another great bit. So when they feel they've wrapped it up, Greg makes a bunch of coins for everyone that say we did it, and then they get mad because they're like, that's a confession.
And I love that Jesse keeps the coins and he hands them back out, and he's like, see, I knew the coins were a good idea. That he's like, Gregory, toss it in the water.
Yeah. So here's an interesting conversation question. What televangelists do you think the Gemstone family members are based off of? Because it feels like they're sort of an amalgamation of different families.
Yeah.
Because there's a bit of Billy Graham in there. There's a bit of Jim and Tammy Faye Baker in there. A bit of Kenneth Copeland.
I think the like lack of politicsy stuff from the pulpit gives off like Joel Osteen vibes too. The like kind of
Oh yeah,
floating above it
definitely-
all. Oh, I'm not, they're not explicitly conservative for the most part. Then it comes out occasionally, but
right.
They're surprisingly liberal on like gay issues, which is a thing I was surprised about. Is it just that they're like they don't want to go there, like the writers, or is that a thing that I'm missing, like about like the modern state of evangelicals?
The kind of thing I got is like when you're at that level, you're primarily in the entertainment industry. Like who you spend time with is not so much. It's like a different evangelical bubble. It's like rich people evangelicals, and I think that's just a different. Like they are going to be a little more. Like, I mean, especially for family members, they're going to be a little more tolerant because it's like the whole joke is like they're able to make peace with like I love my bi son.
Yeah. Pretty quickly, like that isn't an issue, but like but maybe if it like I don't know if it's more public, because then you have like Judy and BJ have to pretend that they're not living together,
right,
premaritally having sex, but also like no one cares that they are doing it necessarily, just that like they don't want anyone to see it. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the vibe. So like I don't know, I took the like them being cool, like being mostly okay with gay people and some of that stuff as being more reflective of the fact that they don't really hold these commitments they're projecting out into the world, really. You know what I mean? Like they it's down to like the swearing, which I know is like a weird little thing to point out, but it's like, because initially I was kind of like, well, this doesn't feel like evangelicalism to me because they're all swearing all the time. And like, I remember that being like a real no-no, but I don't think they like really they fully hold their beliefs.
I think it's that thing of like you do the thing. It's like, well, it's one of those things where, we facilitate all these good things, so I have an exception for myself. It's like, I know why it's actually wrong, so I can engage in the behavior.
Yeah.
Is probably kind of the root of it. And I mean, I think a lot of it just comes down to like the Danny McBride's writing style. And
it would be hard for this show to not have swearing in it. Yeah.
But I do think that's kind of a real disconnect. Like I do think these guys definitely view themselves primarily as entertainers and facilitators and do not feel any pressure to hold a lot of the stuff that they say.
Yeah. I think
because I mean because so much of what this show's doing stylistically, it's like it is a crime show, it's a gangster show.
Yeah.
It's like, but they're not selling drugs, they're selling salvation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like a legit. They operate within a legitimate market, but.
And I might go farther to say not just selling salvation, but selling an emotional experience. That's more than that, because it's not just also like, we saved a number of souls, although they like to say that. Like with the going to China and doing the baptisms. It's at the opening scene of the season. But like they like saying we saved this many souls, but it's more about like this big performance that's supposed to give you a transcendent emotional experience. Right. That captures evangelicalism really well.
Right. The spectacular side. Yeah. The spectacle. Right. Because I mean, so much of the production work on the like church service sequences is kind of insane.
Crazy.
Because they're shooting the show. They're filling a stadium. They're putting on these like concerts and stuff, all this like giant stuff. So so what's interesting is I'm excited for you to see like the later seasons, because we get some interesting stuff about Eli's origins, and kind of where the gemstone thing I'm
excited for that, because Eli's kind of more a figure than a character in this season.
Because he's the patriarch in decline. He's the patriarch in crisis. And so like a lot of the later seasons will go back to different points, showing Eli in his prime, and kind of like a lot of it just has to do with like, you're reaping these you're reaping these things you've sown in times past. And
that's good, because the thing is, like, outside of him fucking over the other churches, Eli leaves this season looking like kind of one of the better people, and I don't expect that to stay the case as we get farther into the show. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't seen that, but
yeah, because it's like at the end of the day, like, it is the story told from the Gemstones perspective. So I mean, I think it's kind of that trick. It's like, yeah, that's the way we're gonna see it, but it's I just think of that last shot of him and Johnny Seasons, like letting him be the pastor of the church. It's Eli. That's what Eli makes himself think he's a good guy. Oh, I gave this guy a job. Well, yeah, you get to be magnanimous because you won.
Yeah, because you destroyed this guy's church.
You gave him a job, like you're taking care of him materially, but that's not out of the goodness of your heart. That's another person you control. That's another person on your payroll.
Yeah. Which is another one of the examples of the music is being used in a way where you can't just like roll with the emotions the music is giving off, like, because that whole final moment where it's a lot of these heartwarming things, there are some genuine sentimental heartwarming things, but there's also a lot of things that are kind of fucked up happening, but the music is conveying it like this is the montage of all the characters becoming good now. But then it's like you cut to Baby Billy, and like, after getting struck by lightning, he temporarily died and came back, and so he's
saw his
claiming
sister.
Yeah, so he's claiming
saw a vision of Aimee-Leigh,
claiming he went to heaven and saw Aimee-Leigh, and maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but he's definitely now selling crayon drawings of the vision he saw while dead to people.
Yeah, Baby Billy, the electric preacher.
The electric preacher. This like tent revival context, and yeah, the music is swelling in those moments as if this is part of the montage of all the characters, stories wrapping up nicely, and they've grown, but it's him just being the same person. But now he's had his
right.
little spiritual moment that he can now milk for money forever now.
Yeah. Right. Yes. Salvation is just a reset to the status quo. And that's, I think that's kind of like the overarching comedy of this show is like, they never learn their lesson. We end on these moments where it's like, yes, maybe they'll be better people. And then it's like, nah, they never change. Like they're still.
I'm really interested to see where the show goes with Gideon, because right now Gideon to me is the character I empathize with the most. Without spoiling it, will that stay the same? Do you think?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I don't know. Now I need to rewatch the.
I guess we'll find out. Because I also know, I remember that where like I had said that about Greg in Succession being the character I empathized with the most, and then he becomes increasingly fucked up throughout the show.
Oh yeah, he is unrecognizable by the final season.
But when he's like the dumbass stoner among all these rich guys, I get him more, I guess. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think Gideon's a pretty good kid all the way through.
Yeah.
I mean, like, spoilers. Okay, don't be wrong. He does some blackmail. I mean, it's not great, but also like he's blackmailing his real piece of shit father.
Yeah. But no, he's a good boy. He's a very good, kind of straight man to a lot of the comic. Yeah. Like he's a pretty good, to a lot of scenes.
Right. Yeah. He is just like the normal person who has experienced the world, who is like trying to find his place in this family that he can't seem to like break apart from.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. Yeah. A lot of good character work in the next couple seasons.
Yeah. There's a scene that I laughed at when, after Gideon comes back and Jesse says, oh, he thinks he should just come back in here like he's some kind of prodigal son. Yeah, dude. Like
you're a preacher, man. Like, what are we doing here?
I don't. Oh man, just speaking of Jesse's family. Also, man, why am I blanking on Jesse's wife's name?
Oh, she's so good in this.
Internalized misogyny.
That's why.
Pretty much. Yep. Yeah. I hate women. Oh, don't put that.
Reason. I'm just going to cut that clip out and just have that on a soundboard.
Internalized misogyny. I hate women. Internalized misogyny. I hate women. No, but like the joke of like his middle son being named Pontius.
Oh, Pontius.
And then
Pontius.
right, and there's that early scene where he goes into Pontius's room while he's sleeping, and there's an Exodus poster on the back, and so it's like that's just an actual thrash band, but it's like, oh, it has a Bible name. It's just
It's
like
fine.
it's just
it's
if it's in the Bible, it's fine, you know. And then he like picks up Pontius's Bible, and it's just like blood and seed and like all the
Ass.
to fill in for our internalized misogyny, it's Amber.
Amber.
Yeah.
Played by Cassidy Freeman.
Yep. Yeah.
You're also looking up the IMDb.
I sure did Google, but she is so good in this. And also, like, one of my favorite little setup things throughout it is you see her just being insane with guns.
Yeah.
Like she like does these like drills where she's like running around the yard and shooting shit. And I clocked it after the first one of those where I'm like, she's going to shoot him.
Yeah.
By the end of this season, she's going to shoot Jesse. And I was so like, and I was completely right. Like I knew it was setting that up, and I was really happy with it. But yeah, like when it shows like in a really great just like side note kind of joke is her walking into their big like gun room they have, and it's in a scene where she's just like quickly doing something and stepping out, and so it's like just to kind of plant in your head that's there. And so then when there's a moment where she's mad at Jesse after Jesse's told her that not only that he just he'd done coke and potentially cheated on her. I mean, of course he says he didn't, but whatever, right? Not only that he did that, but that he lied about it and helped her gaslight another mom about, or another wife about it. Like that you see her just walk off and open the gun cabinet.
So I have a question. Do you think Amber, on some level, knew that it was all bullshit? She was gaslighting. I think she was. Like, I think she's just mad because, like, she couldn't deny it any longer.
Well, like, and you see that because she's a piece of shit too in this show as well.
I mean, she knows where her bread is buttered, and she understands that there's like any sort of relationship you have with a man like that is an arrangement, and it's just like. He just took one step over the line. He broke kayfabe. Like by confessing in the first place, he broke the illusion. And that's what she's mad at him for.
Yeah.
It's not any expectation that he's actually faithful or walking the straight and narrow. It's that he can't even keep up the pretense.
Yeah, because like that's the thing is like I think I would struggle to imagine the whole episode where she goes to they go to talk to Chad's wife. I'm again blanking on her name now. Well, we had just said it, Mandy. Yeah, like I would struggle to see the scene where she goes and talks to Mandy. That whole episode. I would struggle to see her as not aware of what's going on because it doesn't feel like that's what the joke is.
Well, yeah, because
she's like literally handing him lines to help her lie to him. She's like, "Oh, it must be like a computer glitch, huh?" Like these emails must be a joke, right? Like it seems like she's in on it a bit. And it was just once he revealed it to everyone and embarrassed her.
She pulls the gun out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
because she's also really shitty to Mandy, like immediately afterwards, where she's like, "Well, my husband didn't fuck her."
Oh yeah, anytime she brings up any doubt, it's just like tamp it down, reassert dominance, gaslight, maintain the position, because
I think it's clear she's active in this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like, oh man, yeah. Got to stop referring to the later seasons, but Amber's journey is incredible. I'm
excited. I'm excited.
But yeah,
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
we'll have to do season 2 early in September because I'm gonna be itching. I'm gonna be itching to watch the rest of this.
Hell yeah, dog.
What'd you guys think of BJ?
I love BJ.
So funny.
He's so funny.
He's such a. I love the scene where he's like, I've got a after he breaks up with Judy, they temporarily break up, and she goes to visit him at the optometrist office in the mall, and she's like, you don't say shit, you say BM, and he's like, I'm got an edgy side now, and he just like slightly turns his head, and he has an earring.
It like zooms in on it and everything too. It's so good.
Yeah, man.
I think I've started to like get a grasp on your specific sense of humor, James, from the combination of tweets and then like, you know, tweets you've made and then just like over time references to like, I think you should leave. And I kid you not, at that scene, I was like, James thought this was one of the funniest scenes. And I also found it funny, but like I felt like I'd clocked it. I was like, that is a James joke right now.
One of my favorite BJ lines is one of the church lunch scenes where he's like, I grew up in a hardworking middle class family. We weren't rich, but we also weren't poor.
Yeah, I like the character of BJ just because he's just kind of a woke. He's kind of like a woke lib, but he's also trying desperately to fit in with this like family that just doesn't respect him, and he's just like the butt of every joke.
You know, it's kind of interesting because there's like parallels and then really big differences between BJ in this show and basically the BJ of Succession, which is Tom, is the fiance, eventually husband of Shiv, the daughter, you know, because you have the same like two sons and a daughter thing in Succession. And it's the same thing where it's like he's the corny, like Midwestern coded kind of person among like everyone else, but it's like dialed up as like Tom is like, you know, trying to be serious in the show, and that's like where it goes. BJ, like, I guess he's becoming that way, but it still remains super goofy.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Well, I mean, and then revealing like, you know, he's the reasonable one, but then you just reveal like how deranged his relationship with Judy is. Like, again, like that final scene, like when he's like, I would not have reacted like your professor. I would not have cried when I shot, and I would not have discussed my son afterwards.
Yeah, another one of those things where the music and shit's a joke too, because if I remember correctly, the music's swelling as if this is a romantic moment, but he's like saying truly horrible shit.
There's a Gemstone security guy in the room just like on the computer, and they cut to him like in the middle of the conversation just like reacting.
Oh, my favorite one where they get the security guard's kind of like reaction for a second is where he's like, you need to save all that piss for my chest. And then it like cuts to the security guard like, oh my God.
Okay, maybe the most the most forbidden joke in the show, and I hate myself for finding it so funny, is the flashback episode where Judy's watching Aimee-Leigh and Eli discipline Jesse, and she's like, I like watching him get yelled at. It makes my bird twitch. And then they all slowly realize what she's referring to. And Eli's does she mean her privates?
Oh man, no, it's really sold by Eli's delivery in it. is you know, Goodman's delivery in that scene is so good because he's like, what is she talking about? Does she mean her privates?
So you know how everyone on Twitter loves diagnosing things now?
Yeah.
I love that.
What do you think Judy has? Like, what's her like?
Oh man, I don't even know. Like, because it's not like just like bipolar or something like that. Like, this is like this is a deep neurosis. What is the disorder to refer to like stalkers? What is that usually called? Because like she's got that going on, clearly, something like that. Like she gets obsessive with somebody.
Yeah. It's kind of like, man, I learned this from reading a book about Bo Bergdahl, but it's, there's a thing called schizotypal personality disorder. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's kind of where you take everything in your own head as reality. So like with a Bo Bergdahl type example, like very obsessed with having like a set moral code and like kind of doing adventures and things and just believing in his ability or having a certain picture of the world to thinking where, oh, I can just like go join the French Foreign Legion, but not realizing like, oh, I might actually need to speak French. They're not just going to accommodate an English speaking person. Like it's not enough to just want to do it. Like,
okay.
it's
I can see that.
Right,
because she's like not a good singer or dancer, but she's like convinced she's like a secret star that can do those things.
Right.
If she just got on the stage, she'd be able to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Without just like, without preparation, practice, or anything. It's like, oh, it's kind of taking your own picture of the world, like mistaking the map for the territory, but as a mental disorder.
I see. Okay.
Kind of like, but it's not schizophrenia where that's completely warped. Like you're still a person operating in reality, but like you don't conform to it very easily.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's a solid one because I can't think of I couldn't think of anything else aside from that. That seems good.
I mean, attachment issue. I don't know. Everybody likes to talk about attachment theory now.
I think you could do a lot of psychoanalysis on Judy because, like, you get the kid episodes, and I mean, ultimately, like, what the diagnosis is spoiled brat. That's what it is. Because, like, you see her as a kid, and she's like mad at somebody for like giving her a toy that she has 4 of already and shit like that. You know, she's got that going on from a really early age. And so like I projected it onto like her fucked up relationship with that professor is just an adult example of that same thing where it's, I want this and now I have it because I'm allowed to have everything I want.
Yep.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. I think whatever it is, probably getting everything you ever want with no resistance probably doesn't help. Doesn't
do good things to your brain. No.
Yeah,
I think so.
That's kind of one of the things I kind of picked up on Righteous Gemstones is how it's fundamentally it's like a story about generational wealth and how that just like is not good for you, like spiritually or mentally. Like it just like does like fuck with your brain to just be able to like have pretty much anything you want whenever you want your entire life, and then like it just like kills your ability to relate to people or like be like a good person.
Yeah, and it is like a generational wealth story too in that sense too, because Eli, you know, comes from more modest background, and then because of that wants to spoil his kids, which is like this is a classic dynamic. If you know, I've known a lot of people that come out of households that look like this, where it's like, you know, somebody who comes from maybe a more poor background or whatever, they get rich. And so then they want to be like, well, I'm not going to give my childhood my child that suffering that I had to experience of not being able to get everything as a kid. So they buy their kid everything. And then you end up with these little brats. You know, I went to a private college. I know that archetype. Yeah, I do like that. I'm really excited for as the show goes on getting more about Eli, because I think that's the trajectory I'm most interested in, because not the most interested in, but like that one is interesting insofar as it's one that's commenting more also on like history. When it gets to Eli, it's a lot more, you know, there's the interpersonal stuff, but there's also the degree that it represents these like big cultural generational shifts that have taken place over the years, you know, coming from like marrying a former Depression era star and then, you know, coming up in like, it feels like in the 70s or 80s, you know, in the like real televangelist boom, you know,
70s and 80s.
It seems like it lines up with all of this like history really well. And so I'm really interested the more they explore that. But, well, we've been going for a minute, so I think we probably could move toward wrapping up here. I guess final thoughts on this season of television that we've watched. Thumbs up.
Yeah, it's a good show. So kind of prepared for this episode. I actually read 2 books. I read Jesus and John Wayne, and I read Against.
Oh yeah,
by Tad DeLay.
And
good.
Jesus
good
and John Wayne by I can't pronounce her last name.
Christian Cobes Dumais is usually what I say. I don't know if that's right. That's how I say it, but I don't know if that's right.
Yeah. Well, I realize now I probably didn't have to do that. I could have probably spent that time gaming instead, because like that stuff, like the stuff about that stuff didn't really come up about like the history of evangelicalism or like the ideology undergirding it or whatever. We mostly just kind of talked about the show. So that's a lesson to take for later, that I should never do any extra work for anything.
That's right. That's the takeaway. No, we'll talk. We can talk about.
We'll
get into that more later.
Yeah,
we have 2 more episodes of this.
Book for pleasure. God damn it!
I mean,
I'll honestly, never do that again.
I had to read a book. I read a book for fun.
Yeah, I think they deal with a lot more of that cultural stuff a little bit more through some different and new characters in the 2nd and 3rd season.
Yeah, I think this was us laying the groundwork. And loyal listener, if you subscribe to the Patreon, you'll be able to hear us get more into that with the next 2 episodes of this series.
But what can you say? I think the show's a masterpiece. I think it's a great show. That's pretty much all I've got to say. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I can see the argument that's one of the funniest shows ever made. I'll see how I feel about that after the next 2 seasons. I'm assuming it just gets funnier though.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, I think season 3 is the weakest.
Okay.
Season 2 is the best though. I'd say that's season 2 is probably my favorite season that they've done.
Yeah, well, and I'm kind of interested by that too, because just on a level of on the release date level, I know that this first season came out pre-COVID, and then the season after that they had to come back. A couple years later. There was a few years gap because of COVID, which also means I think they were sitting on a lot of stuff and had a lot of time to really, edit it and get it to be exactly what they wanted.
So I think the way they treat COVID is one of their best, like, subtle jabs at, or not subtle, but like one of their best jabs at like Christian culture writ large. They do address it like briefly, but anyway.
I'm excited. I'm so excited.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's a great. Well, I mean, it's Jody Hill and Danny McBride finding a grand canvas on which to do their shtick. But it's also a great picture of what decadent evangelical Christianity looks like at this day and age. Kind of the state of things and the trajectory of it. And one thing I appreciated on this second watch is kind of like, I don't know how weirdly even-handed they are about it. Like, there's obviously a lot of contempt for like the spectacle and the hypocrisy, but there's a recognition that like, oh, there's a there. Like, somebody's getting, in spite of everything, people get something out of this, and they're able to kind of like suspend their judgment a little bit there.
I think Season's character is like really vital for that too, because he does represent like this more austere, just Protestant who does like actually believe this.
Well, yeah, I mean, the flashback episode, you had a celebrated character actor, Emmett Walsh, as Eli Gemstones' father, saying like, all this excess is obscene. Back in my day, you needed 4 walls, some willing souls, and the good book.
Yeah. And so there's a degree that the show's doing a good job of just being like, look what Protestantism has done to itself in America. You know what I mean? Like, here's the values that it supposedly started out with, and look at what it's done. Look at what it is now.
Right. Yeah. It's, I mean, that scene, it's like, okay, what makes you spiritually different from your peers? Like, nothing. You're just another middle class asshole like everybody else, or upper.
Yeah.
Just another capitalist at the end of the day. You're just selling a different product.
Well, I love the show. I'm really excited to get into the next 2 seasons. It was incredibly funny. I love a good crime drama, and I love a good comedy, and it's both of those very well. Does both of those very well. And yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes, and I'm especially excited to see the next season, especially because, you know, as James has said, it's a contender for one of the funniest seasons of television of all time. So, and I will say obnoxiously yet again, if you also want to listen to our thoughts on one of the greatest seasons of television, consider supporting the Patreon. All right. And on that note, I guess, is there anything, any shout out, like any plugs or anything you guys want to do? Josh, you're on here frequently.
That's it. I don't have any of my own stuff going on right now, so this is what I'm doing.
James, people should follow James on Twitter, of course.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to plug?
Yeah, I've kind of been dedicating more time on Twitter to posting about things that are really important to me, which is various weird imported sodas I found at the local Amish Benton Dent store. So you can follow me. You can see different seltzer waters, different fruit drinks that I find. You know, the last haul wasn't very good. I didn't really find anything. I just got some seltzers. Yeah. So you know. Soda, post about soda, posting about just that. Twitter's
James is one of the funniest people I follow on Twitter. You should follow him. Okay.
No, dude, Twitter's over, man. It's cooked. It's tough.
Oh my god. Sorry, just on Twitter being cooked. Business Press just had some headlines this week where, like, objectively, the Twitter deal is the worst deal for the finance industry since the financial crisis of 2008.
Oh yeah.
Like,
man.
I mean, basically what it comes down to is, like, a bunch of banks had to come together to pull the funding together, and now they just have these shitty loans on their books that they can't get rid of because, like, nobody wants to buy it off them.
Oh man. It would be so funny if Elon Musk was, like, the cause of some kind of, like, major market crash or something.
He's come pretty close a few times. Like,
I don't know how finance works. That shit's still all fake to me. But
it's dark sorcery. Dark sorcery and grifting. That's what it is.
But yeah, so I guess what I would like to plug is go meet your neighbors. Just, like, go outside. Go to your neighbor's house, knock on his door, and introduce yourself. Yeah, just talk to people in your neighborhood, man. I don't know. Just don't follow me. It's fine. Like, I think the thing that I ate the most shit on Twitter, there's two things I can think of. The first is my support of Frauder Man, John Failure Man for Pennsylvania Senate.
Yeah.
And the second is the fact that I didn't think Elon Musk buying Twitter was going to be that bad. I'm like, I was like, calm down, guys. Like, I don't think he's any more of a. I didn't think he was any more of a freaking Dorsey. You know, I thought it was like, oh yeah, he's just another tech dipshit. It's gonna be just the same bullshit it always was. But I did not anticipate how, like, needy he was to get approval from, like, the most, like, insane and, like, stupid people on, like, the world, like, ever, like, truly. Shout out by, like, the tech industry and, like, the Groyper press. I don't know, man. It sucks.
Well, yeah, it's funny, like, because Dorsey's a freak, but he can, like, build a website at the end of the day. Like, he actually knows how to build a website.
Right.
Like, he's actually good at the computer, whereas Elon Musk is dumb and not good at the computer. He's very bad at the computer, actually. But his entire identity is based on being good at the computer, but he's not.
Yeah. What's going on with Blue Sky? Is that still a thing?
I know there's, like, devoted users of it now, but
it's like I feel
I forget to post on it.
They feel like the safe havens of, like, the most tepid liberals. Like, there's just like it doesn't have that magic of Twitter. Like, it's just, we can't go back.
No, it's because it's just the most annoying type of, like, liberal or leftist is the only kind of people on there. And the ecosystem of Twitter requires a back and forth between that wing and then like some normal kind of people, and then like the most insane right-wingers. You need like all of that going into it for it to be the magic sauce.
Right. So they feel like big, instead of like the one big forum that we all post on, like Threads and Blue Sky feel like the big group chat you post on.
Yeah. They need it.
I'm a fucking boomer millennial, man. Like I'm just scrolling reels now. I'm just on Instagram. Like I'm just sending reels to my wife. That's just
that's
just
what
that guy now.
They need to import some groypers into Blue Sky, kind of like in when they're doing like like in wildlife preservation, when there's like too many prey species in like an area, and you need to import some predator species to like hold the herd a little bit.
Yeah. It's like releasing the wolves in Yellowstone. They need we need to airdrop some groypers into Blue Sky to get this running again.
Because like, right now it's just like a battle between like kind of your impression of the most annoying leftist and then like Will Stancil liberals, and like that's kind of the fighting is between those two.
Which Overton window would you like to peer through? We have a variety of sizes and dimensions.
All right, whatever.
You can follow James on Blue Sky too.
Cigarette Liker, just no underscore, and then Twitter cigarette_liker. And I haven't smoked a cigarette in like a year and some change, maybe 2 years. I don't remember, but so it's kind of a kayfabe bullshit. It's a bullshit handle. Let me just say this: this is like the most like 2019 like irony Twitter stupid bullshit Twitter handle. I don't know why I haven't changed it. I just haven't thought of anything better.
That's fine. It's
the brand. It's just
a brand now. Yeah. All
yeah.
Right. Well, thank you everybody for listening, and have a wonderful rest of your day. And we are going to have more Righteous Gemstones next month. Hey, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you like what you heard, make sure to leave a review on Apple Podcast and consider checking out the back catalog. If you really like what you heard, consider supporting the show on Patreon. And hey, one of the benefits of supporting the show on Patreon is you get your name read out at the end of every episode. So let's do that right now. This episode is brought to you by our lovely patrons, who include I Drink Corn Syrup Yum, I Am Once Again, Leo Zachary Dickinson, Philip Cozy, Aaron Thompson, Attention Francis, Derek Hale, Gavin Aronson, Joseph Gross, Kyle Gannis, Metric Conversion, Moss, Nathan Thiessen, Racecar, Regular Sized Horse, parentheses, Small, Robert Heilman, Stephen aka Spike Stonehand, The Worst of All Possible Worlds, Vicky Sutton, The Blurst of Times, and of course, Chris Barker. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and here's Misbehavin'.
Listen, don't go missing, I'm behaving. I comb my hair and I brush my teeth. I make my bed and I eat my greens. I wash my hands to keep away from Satan. So no more tricks and no more misbehaving. No more tricks and no more misbehaving.